We're breaking down the Oklahoma women's 77-66 win over the BYU Cougars on Tuesday night. This is John Williams, host of the Locked On Sooners podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. We'll break it down.
You are Locked On Sooners, your daily podcast on the Oklahoma Sooners, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, Sooner Nation? Thank you for joining me. My name is John Williams, and today's episode, a bonus edition of Locked On Sooners, is brought to you by LinkedIn. Find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster by posting your job at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. You can post it for free. Again, that's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Again, thank you for joining me. You can follow me on Twitter at John9Williams. You can follow my co-host Josh Helmer on Twitter at JoshOnRef. You can also hear him Monday through Friday from 9 to noon on 94.7 The Ref in Norman. The Oklahoma Sooners women's basketball team got a resilient win over the BYU Cougars in their first road game of the season to move to 3-0 up in Provo. They overcame an 11-point deficit in the second quarter and rallied, chipped away at it in the third quarter, and then played a tight ball game against the Cougars throughout the fourth, and were able to pull away late in the fourth quarter. In the final 3 minutes, the Oklahoma Sooners went on a 16-6 run, taking it from 61-60 to the final margin of 77-66. Madi Williams, she led the way with 21 points. Liz Scott had 12 points, 9 rebounds. Neveah Tot, she was clutch down the stretch. Entering the final 3 minutes, she just had 7 points on the game. She had added 11 in the final 3 minutes, including a couple clutch. You had a clutch three, some big free throws as well. So a big win for them. They overcame a pretty poor shooting night by their standards. Taylor Robertson, the all-time leading three-point shooter, she was just 2 of 10 from the field and 2 of 10 from three-point range for 6 points. But she added 5 assists, a couple rebounds. She kind of helped out in different instances. Again, we talked about Liz Scott's 12 points, 9 rebounds. Madi Williams, she filled up the box score, 21 points, 4 rebounds. She was 1 of 2 from 3. Madi, she just crushing it, 10 of 16 from the field in the game. But Neveah Tot, she came through down the stretch. She finished the game 5 of 11 from the field, 3 of 9 from three-point range for 18 points. And it was, again, like I said, it was a pretty poor shooting night. The other night against SMU, they shot 60. So I keep saying the other night, but they played it at 10:30 in the morning. I keep forgetting that. They shot 60% from three-point range tonight against BYU. They only shot 26.5% from three, but they were able to hit a couple key three-pointers down the stretch. Again, the one by Tot, and there was one as well by Skylar Van, I do believe. Yeah, so a big way to finish the game. You don't want to get down 11 points in any game. You're on the road against a team that was 0-2, got blown out by Colorado State, lost to Montana State, hadn't really found their footing yet in the 2022-2023 season. But they gave the Oklahoma Sooners a test. Like Oklahoma, they're legitimately a top 15 team in the country. BYU, they came out, they played really strong. They've got a really good big. They've got a couple really good players in their own right as well. And Oklahoma was able to overcome all that. From the bench, they didn't really get a whole lot. They got 6 points from Aubrey Jones, the Iowa State transfer. And that really was kind of all that the bench provided. I mean, the bench itself, you got 2 points from, Kirsten Tucker. Was really the starters. The starters were kind of the ones that led the way, that led the charge for the Sooners. And it's good to see. Like, you don't want to get down 11 points. You don't want to have bad shooting nights, but it's good to see that this team can have a bad shooting night. Similarly to how they performed against Oral Roberts, you can get down by 11 points early in the game and you can overcome that. It's a strong way to finish the game when you go on a 16-6 run the final 3 minutes and you're able to kind of take control. One thing they did really well, they didn't turn the ball over. I believe they only had 6 turnovers in the game, and that's huge. Like, if you're not shooting the ball well, you better protect the basketball, and they did a great job at that. So the Oklahoma Sooners, they moved to 3-0 now on the season under Jenny Brownchick in her second year with the Sooners. Again, just running down the stats: 37% from the field, 26.5% from three. They shot 34 3-pointers. You live by the three, you kind of die by the three. And that's going to be a storyline to watch for this team as the season goes along. They're going to be a tournament team. I fully believe that. But how deep they're able to get in the tournament is going to depend on how hot they are from night to night. How well they perform in the Big 12 against a really good basketball conference with Baylor, Texas, Iowa State. It's a really good conference for basketball, especially women's basketball. So it's going to be tough most nights for the Oklahoma Sooners. So they're going to have to be more consistent shooting the three ball, especially if they're going to shoot the three 34 times like they did. Don't go away from it. That's your bread and butter. That's key for you and how you perform, but you're just going to have to be more efficient at it. 14 of 19 from the free throw line, not bad. You'd like to see that be a little bit better. You don't like to see 5 misses from the free throw line, but they out rebounded BYU 44-2 on the offensive glass. Out rebounded the Cougars, 16-9. So again, they won in the areas that you had to win in order to win the game. You didn't turn the ball over. They forced 15 turnovers on BYU's side versus the 6 on their own side. And yeah, they won the rebounding battle. Although, yeah, they won the rebounding battle, got the win on the offensive glass as well. So all in all, not a great start, not a great first half for this team, but they come back and they win the second half. They ultimately win the game. At halftime, it was 34-26, down 8 going into the break, and the Oklahoma Sooners outscored them 51-32 after the break. So that's how you come out of the half. That's how you respond to a challenge. You come out of the half strong. You make sure that you correct some of the things you did wrong in the first half. I'll have to look and see if I can find the half to half breakdowns of the shooting performances, but that's the sign of a good team. You get down, you chip away, you come back, and you take the game late. So kudos to the women, I should say, not girls, women, for picking up a big win, moving to 3-0. They got another big road test against Utah up there in Utah. They're playing the Utes tomorrow night. So make sure you're looking out for that one. I believe that one will be on ESPN Plus for you to check out. The Oklahoma men, they've got a game against UNC Wilmington that should be tipping off any minute now as I'm recording this. So make sure you go check that out. That one is on ESPN Plus. Wilmington, North Carolina, the home of Michael Jordan. So that's a lot of fun. We're going to have more coverage on basketball as the season goes along. We're still in the throes of football season, so we're going to have more on football. Tonight, we'll talk with Kyle Yeomans of DallasCowboys.com. Also does broadcasting for Texas high school football. He kind of gave us a little bit of insight on Michael Hawkins, the 4-star 2023 quarterback recruit that's been crystal balled to the Oklahoma Sooners. He's got rival future casts on threes projecting him to the Sooners. And a legacy of Oklahoma. His father played defensive back for the Sooners. So that one looks like it could be a commit at some point down the road for Oklahoma, for Jeff Lebby and the offense. 4-star quarterback Michael Hawkins. Kyle, he watched his playoff game for Allen against Louisville. Did the broadcast on that front. Also gave us a little bit of insight on Caleb Hicks as well, the 2022 running back commit. So we'll have all that on another episode of Locked On Sooners. So make sure you subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We're free and available on all platforms. Again, thank you for joining me for this bonus episode, just breaking down real quickly this Oklahoma Sooners women's basketball win. 3-0 on the season, getting ready to play the Utah Utes. Make sure you stick around to Locked On Sooners, again, wherever you get your podcasts.